Hello everyone. Welcome to Linux Forensics here at Pen Tester Academy. In this video, I want to talk about how you can use Python in order to automatically mount, read-only of course, some extended partitions which might have been found inside of your disk image. What I have here is a pretty simple Python script, and of course it starts out with shebang user bin Python. I import the same modules, sys, OS path, and subprocess. And I have the same MBR record class that we used before. And recall that we said that the MBR record format was used inside of our linked list. Recall that we said the MBR format was used for the linked lists inside of our extended partitions. So that's completely the same. We have a usage function. It is the same format. It takes one parameter, the image file. And here in my main method, I've defined two lists. I have a list of extended partition types and a list of swap partition types. Because you normally don't want to try to mount a swap partition. So we need to detect that and just skip over it if we have an extended partition that happens to be a swap space. So as before, I read in that first sector, that MBR, and I iterate over it looking for extended partitions. Now, in the other script, we had some logic that said if it's just a VBR, go ahead and mount it, but that's not what the script is for. So this script is just for mounting things in an extended partition. And it's something that you could run after the first script if you detected that you had some of these. So I read in my two values. If in fact it's an extended partition, that's what this test does. It says if the type for the current partition out of my four primaries is in fact an extended partition, it prints out a little message telling me that it found it, and it sets a variable called bottom of rabbit hole to false. And it says this extended partition starts here, and I will start with partition number 5 for extended partitions. And then I have a while loop that says, while I've not found the bottom of the rabbit hole, get those linked list entries. Recall that we said the first two entries are used for extended partition tables. So I have the same open. The only thing that's been added, now I have a seek command. So I say, let's seek to the appropriate sector. And here I have to use bytes, so I multiply by 512. And now I read in that sector, which is an MBR, but it has my linked list entries. I create a small list with two items. The first entry, which points to my file system, and the next entry, which might point to another extended partition or nothing. If it points to nothing, then I'm done. So I'm going to look and make sure that this first guy is not a swap partition. If he is, I'll just print a message saying I'm going to skip him. Otherwise, I'm going to try to mount him just as I did before. So I'll say, if the directory doesn't exist, create it. Here are my mount options. And the biggest thing I need to do is calculate this offset, which will be the start of my extended partition plus however far I have to go into it here, because recall again that the extended partition, all of the values in the MBRs for the extended partition are in fact relative to the start of that extended volume. So I will print out a message saying I'm attempting to mount something, and then I will call mount. If the second entry has a type of 0, then I'm done. If not, I'm going to add the start of that partition, which is another extended volume, to extend part start. This is the sector in the entire disk where that partition starts. And I will also increment the partition number. So now if you look, what's going to happen? So that's the bottom of my while loop. And it says, oh, I'm not at the bottom of the rabbit hole. If I get back here, I'm going to open. I'm going to seek to that new starting point. And then I'm going to pull in the 2 MBR records, etc., until I reach the bottom of the rabbit hole. And that's pretty much this script. I can go ahead and I can run my script, and I'll run it on mount image x part pi against media fill Toshiba disk images and this image right here. And sure enough, it tells me, hey, this looks like it's an MBR at the start. It had one partition that was a type 83 Linux. And then there was another partition, type 5, which is in fact an extended partition. And it tells me, hey, I found an extended partition right here. And then I found a swap partition, so I skipped over it. And in fact, I found the bottom of the rabbit hole. Then I looked at my 2 other entries, and they were both blank. So there you have it. Well, that's all for this video. As always, if you're enjoying these videos, please tell a friend and help us spread the word about Pen Tester Academy. See you soon.